Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we are looking at Essentials, which is a new series I'll be doing where I talk about essential things that every Doctor Who fan needs to see. And today we're going to be looking at essential First Doctor stories that every Doctor Who fan needs to see. So 5 must-have, must-see First Doctor stories. And the first one on the list is, of course, going to be An Unearthly Child, especially Part 1. I recommend watching the whole thing because parts 2, 3, and 4 are fine. But episode 1 is essential. It does such a good job setting the show up. And the interesting thing about An Unearthly Child is, I mean, of course, if you're watching it, you're probably familiar with Doctor Who and what Doctor Who is, yada, yada, yada. But if you're not, if you went into An Unearthly Child completely blind and didn't know anything about Doctor Who, it really is a mystery episode, and things are, peeled away by layers like an onion of what's going on. And you really just have Ian and Barbara trying to figure out what's up with this peculiar student they have, and trying to figure out why she's going to a garage, and following her there, and then following her inside, not understanding where she is, meeting this mysterious old man, who they can't quite figure out. He's a bit hard to follow, even though he does have this look on his face and this twinkle in his eye like he's smarter than they are. And then seeing them get inside the TARDIS and him explain the TARDIS and leave. It really has layers to it, which I really like. Which is something, of course, most of us who see An Unearthly Child for the first time is because we're Doctor Who fans. So we already know everything. But trying to imagine someone going into that as their first episode of Doctor Who is quite fascinating. And it's definitely essential for a Doctor Who fan to see that original episode because it's so well made. And parts 2, 3, and 4 are fine. Number 2 on the list is the Dalek invasion of Earth. I know some people would say the Daleks because it's the first Dalek story, but I feel like that's the only reason it would be essential would be because it's the first Dalek story. I prefer Dalek invasion of Earth. I feel like the stakes are higher, maybe because it is on Earth. It feels like the stakes are higher because it's more personal. The location work of the Daleks running around London is phenomenal and looks great. I enjoyed the action sequences. I like the guest cast. I like the concept and execution of the Robo-Men. The resolution of it's a little silly. That's a little silly. And then people just picking up Daleks and throwing them around. You forget sometimes how easy it is to beat Daleks in Classic Who. But as a whole, really good story. Really, and it's interesting to see how some of the people in that time will even turn traitor on their own people, which is how some people are in real life. So there's some realistic depictions of people in it that I really like. The next one on the list is The War Machines, a great season 3 story that is complete. Great introduction for Ben and Polly. Not a good exit for Dodo, but I'm not a big fan of Dodo, but a great introduction for Ben and Polly. It's a nice, Skynet take over the world kind of thing, stop all the humans deal. Although I guess instead of Skynet, it's Wotan. While the War Machines themselves look a little silly. I think it's a really good story. Hartnell has some really good heroic sections in it. Of course, that very famous, I think it's episode 3 cliffhanger when he refuses to walk away and steps forward. It's a great cliffhanger. Really gives you a full measure of, later era First Doctor, and it's done really well. Hartnell's really on fire in that story. The next on the list is The 10th Planet. It really is essential viewing. I don't think episodes 3 and 4 hold up to episodes 1 and 2. 1 and 2 were definitely the highlights, and they're phenomenally good episodes. Episode 3 suffers from not having Hartnell in it, which again wasn't their fault. He was ill, but it still suffers from it. And episode 4 suffers simply because it's not the episode, it's the animation of the episode. And while the animation itself looks good, some of the camera angle choices are a little wonky and jarring, going from 3 live action episodes to that. And then it's just disappointing not having that resolution surviving and not seeing that original regeneration and having to watch it only in clips. Is a little off-putting, but it's definitely essential Doctor Who. I think it's shot well. I think it's directed well. Hartnell's doing the best that he can. The regeneration is cool. The introduction of the Cybermen, which is one of the best Cyberman designs too. So yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff going on in 10th Planet. And last on the list is the Time Meddler, the first kind of pseudo-historical. And a lot of it is good because I really like Peter Buttersworth as the monk. He's really good as the monk. He kind of has that same arrogant bearing, the way he holds himself, that Hartnell's doctor does. So you just start to wonder if that's, his people in general. Since they haven't been called Time Lords yet, that's just Time Lords in general. I enjoy the story. I like the cliffhangers. It's a great introduction for Steven. Vicky and Steven get some nice bonding time. Hartnell gets some really good dialogue in it. This episode where Hartnell's not there, it doesn't feel glaringly obvious that he's missing. It feels like it's done well, him not being there with him locked in the cell. I just feel like it comes together really, really well. I consider the Time Meddler definitely essential Doctor Who viewing. So those are 5 First Doctor stories I think every Doctor Who fan should see. Now certainly there are more. There are several more from the First Doctor. But just narrowing it down to 5, those are the 5 I would pick at this moment. I want to know what you think of these stories and which 5 you think are essential viewing for any Doctor Who fans. Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out, and I certainly appreciate it. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review, and a link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. I also have a Patreon. If you would like to support me on that, a link to my Patreon is down in the description below. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the continued support of all of my patrons. It does make a difference, especially lately. And my entry-level tier is only $2 a month if you want to check that out. Most importantly, thank you for watching.